Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle Krieger. I'm the Growth Marketing Manager at Fireberry. And today we're presenting Unlocking Call Center Solutions.
I'm Sarah. I'm a technical writer here at Fireberry, and I'm going to walk you through some of the different solutions that you can implement into your system. Um,
Okay, so today's webinar is going to be a little bit different than our typical webinars. Basically, instead of just presenting new features, we're presenting new features alongside existing features because we wanted to show you exactly how our system can really boost the efficiency and operational amazingness of your call center.
yeah.
So yeah, just to keep in mind that at the end of the webinar, in the next day or two, we're going to be sending out an email. And we really want to hear your feedback. We want to hear if you like the style. We want to hear if there's any specific topic that you want us to cover. So just keep an eye out for that and enjoy the presentation.
Also, if you guys see any issues with the sound, with the video, anything like that, please just drop us a note in the chat and we'll get right to it. All right.
All right, so essentially, I'm going to be presenting a bunch of challenges that are not limited to call center businesses, but are very prevalent to the call center industry. And a lot of our current customers are suffering from these challenges. Okay, and basically, what we're going to be touching on today is this concept of high rep turnover, agent burnout, onboarding, and just overall organization, centralization of data, and operational efficiency.
So I'm going to walk you through the different solutions that you could use for these different issues. We're basically going to use a test system that we created. We modeled it after one of our existing customers, and they're a cosmetics company. So we created our own cosmetics company called Rosy Glows Cosmetics. And Danielle's going to walk you through the first challenge that they face.
Okay, so Rosy Glow Cosmetics is a medium-sized business. They have like 5 agents at any given time. They have a manager who's overseeing the agents in terms of operations, in terms of, day to day. And there's also an executive team. One of their biggest challenges before they implemented our system was that they didn't have any way of segmenting their information and making it like organized. So basically everybody had access to everything. It was really difficult for reps to find relevant information when they were speaking to a client. Orders were getting mixed up. Tracking attendance was a big chore. Tracking goals, like all of these things took too much time. And it was one of the solutions that they came to us to create for them.
Okay, so let's dive in and look at what that means in the system. So the first thing we're going to look at is basically we have a custom workspace for each of our different workers. So if we jump right here, we can look at one of my shift managers. Her name is Melissa, and this is the system that she basically comes to every day. So she comes in the morning, she can check on all the accounts, and she can actually look at all the different sections here are lists of the different accounts of the workers who work under her. So these are all the different sales reps that she works with. And she could even kind of jump here to the board view and see really exactly where all of the accounts of her different reps are standing.
So this gives her like the bird's eye view. So like
Yeah.
right when she comes in the morning, she can just see, okay, this is going well. We've got a little bit of blockage over here. Make
Exactly,
some
just
quick
like a quick
changes.
check-in, see what's going on. And for the sales reps, we can actually switch over right here to Mark, who we were just looking at earlier. And this is his system where he can actually just look at his own accounts. Here, as you could see, he has a lot less options here because he's specifically just looking at a workspace which is customized for him, which has only the information that he needs access to. He could easily look at his accounts that he needs to get back to, his specific leads that just came in. And he actually right now doesn't have so many leads. So we'll actually jump in to Melissa's next task in her daily schedule. So when she comes in the morning, there's frequently leads that have just come in from different places, and she needs to give a manager to all these different leads, assign them to the different reps who they need to go to. So she can easily pull up a list and then just click right over here and open up the records allocation option. And by doing this with the accounts object, she can easily pull up the list of records that she needs to allocate and give them to the different reps that she has. So this is a list of our different users. And right now, Mark actually has a pretty light workload. So we can actually uncheck the other people here and just give all of the records to Mark. You could, of course, choose however many accounts you want to give to each rep and just really assign them to whoever you want.
Wow. Okay, so it seems like it's pretty easy. Like if someone's out sick or if you have to create a work schedule for someone, you can easily just
Yeah,
kind
you
of
can just give the accounts to whoever's relevant at that time. We're gonna click this button right here.
and it just shows up right away.
Yeah, so we can actually jump back to the list we were looking at before and see that there's no longer any accounts there because we moved all the accounts. And if we jump back to Mark, and we refresh his page, we'll see that all these new leads are his work for the day and they're already here ready and he can start getting to work. There's another thing that I want to cover with you guys. So one of my sales reps, her name is Joanne, and she's actually a special sales rep. She works specifically with all of my VIP accounts and my business partners. She's been in the company for a long time. She's really well trained. And I want these accounts to always stay with her. And I actually don't want Mark or any of my other sales reps to have access to their information. They have private information that I'd like to keep separate. And the way that we do this in the system is if we just jump over to the settings, and we go to the sales rep role, we can actually look right over here under accounts and under the sharing option. And by selecting the custom option, we can actually choose that the sales reps won't be able to see any accounts who are business partners or who are VIP partners. And in this way, we can really just make sure that all of our data stays in the relevant location and only the relevant users have access to that data. And you can do this with any data points, really.
That's really interesting because, we actually, aside from Rosy Glow, we do have a lot of customers that are running businesses like financial-based businesses or medical businesses, and they need to keep information separate for security reasons or for privacy reasons. So, it's very easy to see, like in the system, you can just create a custom permission based on roles.
Oh, for sure,
then
for anything.
Things stay private.
Yeah, and that really just helps us keep our system organized, and it just creates a custom place for each person. One more thing that you can really customize per person are dashboards, which basically just let us get a quick overview and analyze the different parts of our system. So right now we're looking at the rep performance dashboard, and this dashboard is specific to Melissa, my manager. And all my shift managers will see this dashboard, and it really just gives them a drill down of the different information they need in the system. They can quickly check different information about accounts, about tasks, tickets, deals, really everything.
Also stay ahead.
Yeah.
See problems maybe before they're happening.
Oh, 100%. So she can check in, see really which status her accounts are in, which type they are, and she can even see, let's say, the tasks that her different workers have. So you could see these are the different reps that she works with, and see even how many tasks they've completed, what percentage of the tasks they've completed out of the tasks they have to do, just how many tickets they have, accounts, meetings, really.
And so she can choose anything from the board that we saw before, whether it's a task or whether it's a ticket, and she can kind of drill down by that.
Yeah, everything.
And this whole thing is customizable.
It's totally customizable. I'll actually give you another example so you could see. If we hop on over to Mark and we go to his dashboards, we'll see that he actually has his own custom dashboard. And this dashboard will open for each sales rep with their personal information. So the tasks that we see here, tickets, meetings, everything, those are specific to Mark. Mark has a total monthly meetings of 4. All of this information, it's specific to him. He can check out his status, his accounts based on the status, his tickets, and he can even get a drill down of really his accounts and all the different things that he has with his different accounts.
So this is really a way to empower the reps, especially in an industry where, a lot of times morale could be low, or they can feel either overmanaged or undermanaged, that they can follow their own progress. They can see maybe where they're excelling, and it's easy to keep track of things.
Yeah, they can just check it really on their own. It's fully in the system right next to them, created for them specifically. And yeah, I think that sums us up. We'll head on to our next challenge.
Yeah, it actually goes right into the next challenge, because the next challenge is talking about high employee turnover and retention. So It's not a problem that's unique to the call center industry, but it's a problem that seems to be pretty dramatic. It's not something that we can solve, but I think a dynamic industry like the call center industry does need a dynamic solution. And the idea is that specifically in the case of Rosy Glow, they were having a turnover rate of at least, like 2 reps every month. And that's really high. And when you're running a business and you're getting a lot of, calls from customers, you have a lot of tickets to manage, it creates a really heavy workload for the reps that are still there. And when new people come in, there's always more tension because it's like, okay, how long before these people are going to get on board? And you want them to hit the ground running, and ideally you want them to do well. You want to set them up for success because you would prefer for them to stay. So our solution for them, which Sarah is gonna dive into, really creates this kind of an experience for them. It helps to set them up for success and
Get them running from day one.
yes.
Okay, so let's actually jump back to Mark. And right here on the top, he has this knowledge option that he can click on. And this really actually just holds all the information that he needs in order to work. So let's say that Mark gets a call from someone or a ticket and they ask about the delivery policy. Mark can open it up right here, Control F, find exactly how many days it takes to deliver things, all the different information that he might need. And this isn't just for policies, it's also like the products. So a lot of times Rosy Glow gets calls in about the products that they have, and the people who are just coming into the system, they really don't know the information yet. And sometimes that's stressful to have a call coming in and you don't know the information. But with this option right here, you can actually just open an article which explains everything that you need while you're on the phone with someone. Quickly search up, oh, do you have any cleansers that have aloe? Yeah, you do. And you can just really search through and quickly find any of that information that you need in the system
All the
immediately.
onboarding is
Yeah.
in the system. And now a lot of call centers are also operating like fully remotely. So it's not like he's sitting next to someone and can say, hey, like,
Yeah.
do we carry this product? Like he doesn't necessarily have that option. And this puts all the power into his hands also. Like he feels good. Hey, I can manage things. Hey, I can do
Exactly.
this.
It gives him the confidence to
from day
really
one.
provide just great service to your customers because he can focus on that starting at the beginning. And another option that really helps him with that is that if we jump to one of the new leads we actually just assigned to Mark, you'll see that right here on the side, he actually has a script for the call he has to make right away. So when he starts, he can just pick up the phone and literally read off a script exactly what he needs to say, the different promotions he has to offer, and even what to do if they're not available at that time. And these are totally customizable, so you can create them with the scripts that you need. And not only that, but they actually show up based on the different parts of your customer and the status that they're in. So if we, let's say, switch Alexis through the lines and she now becomes an active customer, there's a totally different call script. And this is the call script that Mark will use for his active customers. And in that way, you can really just make sure that each rep can start from day one with all the information they need at their fingertips.
It's also good because if anyone has to take over someone else's workload, everything is there.
Oh yeah, it's written right here. And so this text option that we see right here for the different call scripts is part of this page that we're looking at right now, which is our account page. And this page is actually totally customized to work specifically for the sales reps. So as you can see, there's a pipeline on the top that easily lets you switch between the statuses. They have specific information on how to contact them. And really
just the information that they need.
Yeah, and we don't want to overwhelm them with too much. We try to keep it really simple with only the things that they need, and they can easily really just switch on to different accounts and just see the specific information that they need for every single account. And if we actually now switch and find this Anderson and Anderson account in Melissa, our managers section, we'll see that the page here actually looks a little bit different, right? There's an option here to see all the different tickets. The fields that are over here are about payment and shipping. And the fields that are highlighted here are a little bit different. And that's because she's a manager and she has different responsibilities. The information that she needs is different. And in this way, she can have a system that is perfectly works for her. And she can just work much more easily. And
this is all customizable. Like if
Yeah.
she wants to see something else, or if she wants to add something or take something away from, the reps page, like this
Oh,
is
100%. So if you just click this button right here, you can literally just drag and drop everything, change the fields that are selected here. Really anything you want is just completely customizable to whatever you're looking for and whatever you need.
so all the things that are the most important for her are what's going to show up.
Exactly. And another important thing that Melissa frequently has to do with what we were speaking about before, which is just employee turnover that unfortunately exists, is have the system be ready for different users and provide users with the system they need. And she can actually just head over to the settings and easily take any user and activate or deactivate them. So if Henrietta, let's say, decides that she wants to leave the country, leave the company, she can just click right here.
I leave it.
Yeah. She can just click right here and deactivate the user. And now Henrietta is no longer able to access the system. However, her user will still exist so that you'll know which phone calls she made, which accounts she was in charge of, and easily be able to move her accounts onto a new person.
It's actually really good to know, because I know that a lot of, smaller or medium businesses, like they don't have an HR.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be like really stressful to be like, oh no, like, especially for privacy reasons and for security reasons, like once someone's no longer working at a company, you need to make sure that they don't have access to, like, potentially very sensitive information. So
100%.
literally click of a button.
Yeah. And then actually what the other thing that's in a click of a button is sometimes people come back. Sometimes people decide that they're ready to come work again, and you can actually just click right here, activate the user, click OK. Henrietta has her system again. She can once again access everything she needs. And even if you have employees that come for specific time periods, like you have a rush in the summer, you might have some users who always come back in the summer, and you can just easily reactivate them in a second.
So what about adding new users?
Yeah, so actually if we go back here, you could really just add users in a second, select their name, email, and you actually put their role, which is what we discussed before, which controls really what they have access to, the different pages that they can see, and that way their system will be customized for them immediately with everything they need, and that helps them really start off on the first day with everything they need.
Okay, speaking of setting people up for success, can we talk about?
Okay.
I know you wanted to
I
do
feel
it
like we
later.
need to.
Okay, fine. So we have this very, very exciting new feature that Sarah's going to talk about later, but I think it's really relevant now. And I think that when we're talking about setting new employees up for success, right? We want them to feel like they can do the work, that they can manage the system. We want them to really feel success from day one and to be successful. So a great way to do that is to be able to almost cherry pick their workload. But
Yeah.
a manager of a call center, usually like they have a few other things to do. So it's not like she can sit there, opening up every single ticket that comes in, reading through the ticket, and then saying, oh, okay, this can be good for this person. This can be good for this person. If only we had an assistant that lived inside of our ticketing option that could do all of this stuff for us.
So I'll give you guys a quick little sneak peek. We'll get into it a little more later, but if we jump over to our tickets option, we'll see over here different options of basically the urgency and the sentiment of your tickets already immediately labeled by our AI assistant, and that really lets our rep, so Melissa, can come in and she could say, okay, Mark just started 2 days ago. He probably is not ready for like a really mean ticket where someone's yelling at him. We're going to start off with positive sentiment tickets. We'll give him those where he can have kind words that he could work with. We could also give him low urgency tickets that aren't as critical to be dealt with immediately.
Basically, you're saying that the AI assistant did all this work for you?
Yeah, it just clears everything up, and we can also that makes sure that our new users and reps can start in the beginning feeling confident and not feel overwhelmed too much.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. We'll head over to our next challenge, which also has to do with being overwhelmed.
Speaking of, so I think a unique problem today, and I think also it's not necessarily only found in this type of environment, but it is primarily in this environment, is we have so many apps. We're all working in so many different places, even if it's email, or making phone calls or anything that we're doing that is outside of like one main system. We're working in a lot of different places. And the problem is, and this is what Rosie Glow was experiencing, they were all great apps and they were getting all their work done, but all the work was completely disconnected from each other. So, maybe they made an update in one location and it didn't update somewhere else. And maybe team members were having trouble getting on the same page, or orders were being doubled, or phone calls were being made more than one time, or phone calls were being missed. Basically, they weren't providing the best service that they could provide because they just were not able to be organized.
I think they were even like wasting time, kind of just
For sure.
trying to track
For sure,
things.
time was being wasted. For sure, customers' time was being wasted. And obviously, that's I don't think, the type of business that they are running. And so one of the solutions that they came looking to us for was really to have one centralized location where the reps don't need to make updates in more than one place, and where everybody on the team can have access to the same information so that no one's time is wasted, especially not the customer's time, and that they could focus on just doing what they do best, which is providing good service.
All right, so let's see how we can implement that. So the first thing that the sales reps do at Rosy Glow really right off the bat when they start working, which Mark did on his first day, is they just hop over to their profile, click the sync calendars and contacts option. And here they can actually just literally sync their Google account, and all their contacts and calendars will immediately be synced with the Fireberry system. And that really just means that their meetings are already popping up here in the calendar. And not only is it in Mark's personal calendar, if we actually hop back to Melissa, our manager, we can choose right over here to put Mark's calendar on her calendar as well. And she can see when he's available, which meetings he has scheduled. And it's not just Mark. She can do this for really all of the reps and easily see when a slot is available. If someone calls in, wants to schedule a meeting, she can be like, okay, there's a slot open on Wednesday at 11 a.m. That's when we can schedule a meeting for.
So I think what's really important to highlight here is that it's the same look and feel as it was, just in calendar.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're saying, hey, you guys have to learn how to use an entirely new system. It's going to look different. It's going to be maybe difficult to learn, because we like familiar things, right? We're creatures of habit, but it's the same look and feel. But look at the functionality. Like, imagine that you are working in a scheduling office, you're not double booking. You don't have to get off of the phone, check the calendar, make another phone call, then make an update somewhere else. Everyone is now able to see who's available, when they're available.
And in one place. You don't even have to leave the system. You're just on that same page. And another thing that we do to really stay within the system and not have to go out too many places is frequently I know that people will share inboxes, because that's just something you need to do. You can't have a million inboxes with all of your inquiries. You need one unified platform, and that's where our team inbox option comes in. And basically, if we jump over to our accounts, we can see, we're going to do it actually on Mark's account. We can see that really right here, you could click email and just send an email directly to your accounts. And this email will come from our shared inbox. This inbox will be, the whole sales team really can work with this inbox together in one place. And all emails are actually going to save directly in this account. So you could see right here, this is an email that Mark received from them that he actually has to respond to. And it really just keeps all of your emails in one place and on the accounts page even, so that every single email is in the place where it's relevant in the system, and you don't need to get overwhelmed by jumping from place to place, checking your inbox.
And everyone who has access to this account can see the emails. They can see the back and forth. They can see the history.
100%.
And if Mark is out one day and there's an issue, people
can just check in, see if someone also called in and asked the front desk, like, oh, like Mark wasn't in touch with me, like they could actually just see if Mark was in touch with him. Like, they don't need to even text Mark or anything. They could just check immediately on the system when this customer was last contacted. And yeah, there's one more thing actually that I'm super excited to tell you guys about. It's a new feature that we've been working on. We basically started integrating AirCall with our system. And if we jump over to our phone calls over here, we could see basically every single incoming and outgoing call that was made through AirCall is immediately just documented in the system. So each of these is one phone call that was made. And if we click on one, we can see exactly the different details that came with the phone call, even a recording of the phone call, who made the phone call, immediately just in your system without you having to do anything. And it's already within the system connected to the account who the phone call was made with.
So you're saying that they don't have to actually pick up a physical phone anymore. Anyone who's working with the air call integration can open up the dial pad, make their phone calls directly from the computer, and whether they're making a phone call or receiving a phone call, it automatically gets saved.
It gets saved. You can click right here to see where it's saved, even in the account itself. You can open a list of all the different phone calls that were made with this account. And that really just keeps you in one place. You don't have to waste your time writing out if someone picked up, if they didn't pick up, who called, how long you were on the phone for. You even have a recording set up already.
One of the specific issues, actually, now you're reminding me of this, that was in Rosie Glow's file, was that they were making so many phone calls, but it was really tedious to update. It was like, okay, do I really need to write if I made a phone call and nobody picked up? And it's like, well, yeah, because that shows that we were in contact with them. It means that there's an ongoing communication. But when you're making so many phone calls a day and there's an expectation to make a lot of phone calls, right? A lot of things were just not getting updated because, there's a lot of expectations in general, I think, from the service industry now, that there is going to be instantaneous responses, that there is going to be a lot of back and forth, that, a company is going to provide a certain level of service. And I think this is where we come to employee burnout, where there's just too much that's expected of people. And there's got to be a way to set up a system so that they can focus on doing the things that only a human can do.
100%. Right? I think that once we really centralize everything into one place, and now that they have their phone calls and their emails, even their meetings, all just in one page, one location, everything in place and the account where it's relevant, we can move on and see how we can cut out other times that our employees are spending. So I think that brings us to our fourth challenge.
Yeah. And the fourth challenge is really, like we said, employee burnout, and walking that fine line between giving the best possible service that we can in terms of, outcomes, in terms of taking our customers through a pipeline, but also making sure that our employees are okay, right? Like, how can we meet these high expectations on both sides? Because, we owe it to both sides. And so I think that now we can go back maybe and talk about the AI system a little bit more, but I think that we found a way to walk that line and to make sure that, our employees have enough energy to deal with people.
Yeah. Okay. So we can talk now about our AI assistant. So this is a new feature that just came out. And if we go to our tickets, we can open up a ticket and see that right here is just an AI assistant that basically, as soon as a ticket comes in, will categorize my ticket using all these different fields. And that lets me just glance over and really see everything I need to know about this ticket right away. So I don't need to go and read a long amount of text. I could just look at it and see, okay, what does this person want to know? They want to know if we use animal testing in our products. Okay, that's fine. I know how to answer that question. And it lets you go in with confidence to go answer your tickets. It even also let's say it's a refund, then I know to give that ticket to our accounting department. It lets you really send each ticket to where it needs to go.
I think a lot of the stress of the day-to-day, especially for an agent, is oh my God, what's waiting for me in my inbox?
Yeah.
And so this way you can kind of, okay, this is what's waiting for me. I know how to deal with this. Maybe I have a question. Maybe the person that I'm gonna have to ask somebody something because I don't know something. Okay, I can already reach out to them, see when they're available. I think it helps people mentally prepare.
Yeah, for sure.
And, be a little bit more calm.
Oh, 100%. And I think that also ties into the sentiment, which really just lets you know, if this person's upset with you or happy with you, or they're just neutrally hanging out.
Another way also to set up, like we mentioned before with Mark, okay, if someone's new, we're not gonna throw an angry customer at them. We're gonna let the pros handle the angry customers.
100%.
And also, based on, let's say, urgency, that we spoke about it before and we saw that we have that option. Nothing is going to fall through the cracks anymore. All of these urgent tickets that we know we need to get out and get done, they'll all be on the radar.
Yeah, I think the urgency field really just helps you plan out your day and like where you need to get to first and then where to move on from there. You really can wake up, look at your tickets and understand like, okay, what's my priority right now?
Right.
And on top of that, you actually also even have the language set up immediately. And that really helps if you're working with multiple languages. Let's say you have tickets coming in English, French, German, Spanish, you can immediately send them to the relevant reps who speak those languages. And that really helps.
And even if the rep doesn't speak that language, the assistant will create a reply in that language.
Yeah, so what Danielle's saying over here is we actually have another option here, the suggested reply. And this is actually something that you can just use to quickly respond to your customers, which really helps your employees to be able to work smoothly and quickly. They can really just click open an email and copy the suggested reply, and they can just stick that, directly into their email. And send an email directly to the relevant contact with all the information that they need. And this reply will pop up in the language that the ticket is sent in. So if the language was in German, the reply will also be in German. And that will really just help your reps work quickly, smoothly. Globally, yeah. And really just have a positive work experience where they don't feel too overwhelmed. And that will just help your employees have an enjoyable time and stay working with your company.
Yeah.
And there's one more feature I would like to show you guys. It's not a new feature, but it ties into every new feature and really every feature in the system because you always really have to implement it. This one is automations. It's actually something we're gonna hop over to Melissa for because it's more of a managerial thing to implement them. But automations basically just automate the regular processes and the grunt work that you have within your day-to-day work life. So for example, you might need to send a welcome email every time that you have a new customer who joins your system, and sending out a welcome email and sending emails for follow-ups, everything, it gets exhausting.
But it's expected. It's like an industry standard.
Right. You can't be like, never mind.
People notice.
Yeah. 100%.
In a bad way.
So automations actually just do the work for you. You set it up once, you hit activate, and you're done. So you could send out welcome emails. Another option that I really like is this automation over here will send an email every time a ticket changes to the in process status. And that makes sure that your customers know that you care about them, that you're taking care of their ticket, that you've heard from them. And I really just think it makes them feel cared about.
It's all about setting expectations.
100%. And I think like there's another one here that will send an email when the ticket's resolved. It just really like keeps them within the process, updates them on their tickets pipeline and how their ticket's going.
The best thing is that you don't have to do anything.
Oh, 100%. You
work
click
smarter,
activate,
not harder.
Exactly. I'll show you guys actually one automation that just works automatically. So if we jump to a ticket over here, I want you guys to keep an eye on this close date option right here. So if we go to the status and we click completed, and we click closed and we click check, and then we just refresh our page. You'll see that the close date actually just filled in on its own. And that's one of the small things that you can do with automations just to really easily keep track of information that your reps don't have to sit and track individually. They don't have to remember anything. Automatically, as soon as they close a ticket, it will immediately fill in exactly when the ticket was closed.
And then for Melissa, for the manager, that now becomes a closed ticket, which feeds into her dashboards.
Oh,
so
100%.
every single thing is really connected.
Yeah, and she can see easily how long it took for that ticket to be closed and measure that in her dashboard as well.
Yeah, and then set goals,
Yeah,
you know, based on how long it takes to resolve tickets. I mean, I think
100%.
gives you a big picture and it helps you plan.
Yeah, so I think by using the automations and the AI assistant, you can really just cut out those small activities that are eating at your time and really just optimize your day-to-day work.
Yeah, make the day better.
All right, I'm gonna jump to our conclusion.
All right, so we just want to do a quick sum up of everything that we kind of threw at you today. So we mentioned that we have the ability within our system to create multiple workspaces. So if you have, you know, reps, whether they're sales reps or customer service reps, you can create a workspace just for them with only their relevant information. So it keeps things organized, it keeps information private, and it also keeps things simple because people don't need extra. It just creates a really easy to learn simple to use work environments. And then, for the managers or for the executives, you've got dashboards, you've got higher level, you've got big picture setups. And it just helps to keep everything moving smoothly, in terms of operational efficiency, in terms of getting new employees started quick. And that
100%.
moves us over into employee turnover and retention. Can we say that our system will solve this problem for you? No. But can our system help retain employees by at least making their work simpler, not taking up so much of that mind space? Yes, we can definitely say that. We've heard it from a lot of our customers that their reps are finding it easy to hit the ground running.
I think it's even like a pleasant work experience when you get in and you don't feel overwhelmed. Like you can just start off your day and be like, okay, like this is what I have to do today. And like, I understand exactly what my responsibilities are right now.
Yeah, and that also ties into the next issue with like the multiple platforms and time management. Everything is in the system. They don't need to open the system and then open anything else. Everything is there. They log in the system. They have access to information. They make all their updates in the system. They take their phone calls in the system. It's all there.
Yeah.
So there's no need to,
you don't need multiple accounts anywhere. You don't need a million passwords.
Very
You need
log in,
one user,
log in.
one sign in, and that's it.
Yeah, and then, like all of these things tie in with the burnout. You don't want your employees burning out, and you want to also give great service, and it's a great way to accomplish both of those goals
Yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, I think those, like, by using those automations and the AI assistant, you can really just focus on the quality of the service that you're giving people, because you're not burnt out by all the day-to-day small tasks that you're doing. And in that way, you can really just focus on your actual work and your customers.
Yeah, it's really it's a shame that in today's day and age there are businesses and there are companies that really provide great great services, but those little things that like that customers have come to expect, like to let those things fall to the side if you don't have a system set up for it, it's a shame because it's easy, to automate them and to move on with the other things that you can't automate.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. So I think that is basically all for today. These are just really a taste of the different things that you can do in the system. There's a whole world out there, and we want to move on and see if anyone has any questions. Please just drop them in the chat. We'd be happy to answer them. I'll give you guys a minute to write.
And also, while you're thinking of any questions, just a reminder that we would really love to hear your feedback. There's so many different things. I think almost every single thing that we touched on in this webinar could have its own webinar because the system has so many capabilities. So part of the feedback form that we're sending in the email is share ideas. What do you want to hear about next? What's something that's interesting to you? A challenge that you think we can help you solve with the system. We'd love to get that feedback from you.
100%. And also, if you're just looking for more information on something, you could check out our help center. There's really articles that explain how to use all the different features that we just went through. And you can, in that way, really go through a step-by-step process of exactly how to set everything up. Okay, I don't see any questions. So I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.